Rob O'Neill begins by discussing his journey into the Navy, which was unplanned and driven by a personal turning point rather than a lifelong ambition. Originally from Bozeman, Montana, his life plan was to pursue college basketball and eventually work as a stockbroker like his father. However, after a difficult breakup, he felt the need to leave town and sought a way out. Although he initially intended to join the Marine Corps to become a sniper, a chance encounter with a Navy recruiter led him to enlist in the Navy instead. The recruiter explained that Navy SEALs also have snipers and that he would need to become a SEAL first, a path O'Neill had no prior knowledge of. Despite growing up landlocked and unable to swim, O'Neill passed the initial physical screening for SEAL training, which included swimming, push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, and running. He described the mindset required to succeed in SEAL training as focusing on small, manageable goals, waking up on time, making your bed, and taking one step at a time. The grueling nature of the training, especially Hell Week, tested not only physical endurance but mental resilience. O'Neill emphasized that the attrition rate was high, with only a small fraction of candidates making it through, and that success depended heavily on mental toughness and the ability to overcome failure quickly. After completing SEAL training, O'Neill was assigned to SEAL Team 2 before eventually screening for SEAL Team 6, the elite national mission force known for high-risk hostage rescues and counterterrorism operations. Selection for SEAL Team 6 was notoriously difficult, focusing not just on physical fitness, but on psychological endurance and the ability to handle failure. The training involved close-quarters battle, high-altitude parachuting, and other specialized skills, with instructors deliberately setting candidates up to fail in order to observe their reactions. O'Neill recounted the intensity of the training, including skydiving with heavy gear and managing parachute malfunctions. He described the camaraderie and dark humor that helped sustain the team through the most challenging moments. The team's culture was one of mutual respect and continuous improvement, where members openly shared techniques and strategies to get better. This environment fostered a relentless pursuit of excellence, preparing them for the unpredictable and dangerous missions they would face. O'Neill's early deployments took him to various global hotspots, including the Mediterranean, Kosovo, and Liberia. These missions were often low intensity compared to later combat experiences, but provided valuable operational training. He described a mission in the Persian Gulf where SEALs boarded a Russian tanker smuggling Iraqi oil without resistance, highlighting the diverse nature of their assignments. His first real combat experience came in Iraq and Afghanistan, where the nature of warfare was brutal and complex. O'Neill detailed the challenges of urban combat, including house raids, interrogations, and the moral ambiguities of war. He spoke candidly about the psychological toll of killing, the necessity of quick decision-making, and the importance of minimizing collateral damage. Despite the violence, he emphasized the professionalism and discipline of his team, who operated with a clear sense of purpose and restraint. One of the most high-profile missions O'Neill participated in was the rescue of Captain Richard Phillips from Somali pirates. O'Neill was part of the SEAL team deployed to the Indian Ocean, where they parachuted into the water and boarded the lifeboat holding Phillips hostage. The operation required precise coordination, stealth, and marksmanship under extreme pressure. O'Neill shared personal anecdotes from the mission, including the surreal moment of buying cigarettes and cash before the jump to barter if necessary. He described the tension and focus required during the operation, as well as the relief and camaraderie afterward. The mission was a defining moment for O'Neill and his team, showcasing the capabilities of SEALs in hostage rescue scenarios and earning widespread acclaim. The pinnacle of O'Neill's military career was the raid that killed Osama bin Laden in 2001. He recounted the secrecy and preparation surrounding the mission, including training with advanced stealth helicopters that were unknown even to the president at the time. These helicopters, described as revolutionary and unlike anything previously seen, were critical to the success of the operation. O'Neill vividly described the moments leading up to and during the raid, including the crash landing of one helicopter in bin Laden's compound and the intense close-quarters combat that followed. He detailed the identification and killing of bin Laden and other targets, the collection of intelligence materials, and the emotional weight of the mission. The raid was a culmination of years of effort to dismantle al-Qaeda's leadership and had a profound impact on O'Neill personally and professionally. Throughout his deployments, O'Neill worked closely with military working dogs, particularly a dog named Cairo, who was renowned for his intelligence and bravery. Cairo was wounded in combat, but survived due to the quick actions of medics and pilots, underscoring the bond between handlers and their dogs. O'Neill highlighted the unique role dogs play in combat, from detecting hidden enemies to providing companionship and morale. He also discussed the harsh realities of warfare, including the constant threat of ambushes, the psychological strain of combat, and the necessity of split-second decisions. These experiences shaped his understanding of the complexities and human costs of modern warfare. O'Neill spoke openly about the psychological aftermath of combat, particularly his struggles with PTSD. He noted that symptoms often emerge years after service, describing his own experience as beginning around 7 years after leaving the Navy. The trauma of killing, witnessing death, and the moral ambiguities of war contributed to feelings of anger, hypervigilance, and emotional distress. He discussed the stigma around mental health in the military and the lack of adequate support for veterans. O'Neill advocated for alternative treatments, including psychedelics like ibogaine, which he credited with helping him manage his symptoms. He emphasized the importance of addressing mental health proactively and breaking down barriers to effective care for veterans. Throughout the conversation, O'Neill grappled with the moral questions inherent in his line of work. He reflected on the impact of killing on both the victims and the perpetrators, questioning whether violence truly solves problems or simply perpetuates cycles of hatred. He acknowledged the difficulty of reconciling his actions with his personal values and the broader consequences for families and communities affected by war. O'Neill also critiqued the political decisions that lead to conflict, expressing frustration with the lack of clear objectives and the often misguided rationale behind military interventions. He highlighted the disconnect between frontline realities and the strategic decisions made by policymakers, underscoring the human cost of political miscalculations. O'Neill was candid in his assessment of senior military leadership and political decision-making. While praising exceptional leaders like Admiral William McRaven, he criticized the broader military hierarchy for being overly political and disconnected from the realities faced by troops. He described a culture where career advancement often depends on political maneuvering rather than merit or battlefield effectiveness. He also expressed skepticism about the motivations of politicians who advocate for war without personal risk, labeling many as war hawks who benefit from the military-industrial complex. O'Neill stressed the importance of holding leaders accountable and ensuring that military force is used judiciously and with clear purpose. O'Neill reflected on the broader trajectory of the war on terror, acknowledging successes such as the elimination of key terrorist leaders, but also recognizing ongoing challenges. He noted that despite significant efforts, terrorist networks continue to adapt and pose threats globally. The complex geopolitical landscape, including the roles of Pakistan and Iran, complicates efforts to achieve lasting stability. He expressed mixed feelings about the invasions of Afghanistan and Iraq, questioning the strategic wisdom and long-term outcomes. O'Neill emphasized the need for realistic assessments of what military force can achieve and cautioned against nation-building efforts that lack cultural understanding and local support. Throughout his military career, O'Neill faced numerous near-death experiences, from parachute malfunctions to helicopter crashes and intense firefights. These moments shaped his perspective on life, death, and purpose. He described a mindset of focusing on the immediate task and not succumbing to fear, a philosophy that helped him survive and perform under extreme pressure. O'Neill also discussed his evolving relationship with faith and spirituality. While not raised in a deeply religious environment, his experiences led him to revisit questions of belief and meaning. He acknowledged the role of faith in providing comfort and resilience for many service members, even as he maintained a pragmatic approach to the realities of war. After leaving the Navy, O'Neill faced the challenges of transitioning to civilian life, including finding a new sense of purpose and identity. He described the difficulty of adjusting to a world without the structure and camaraderie of military service. To cope, he turned to public speaking, sharing his experiences and lessons learned with diverse audiences. O'Neill found that storytelling and engagement helped him process his past and connect with others. He also became an advocate for veterans' mental health and alternative therapies. His post-military career reflects a commitment to service in a different form, using his platform to educate, inspire, and support those who have served.